Right, this one's going to be a little bit different. The gameplay is going to be on in the background purely just for watching. There's a Namor and there's a Magneto gameplay. It's just going to be a general review of Season 1.5, Season 1, hopes for Season 2, and just a general overview of the game and where it's at right now. Before we get like in depth into the actual just game itself as opposed to like characters and stuff, Namor is someone I've been playing a lot more recently, and he is quite a lot of fun. I mean, the turrets, people might call it a bit easy to play him just because of the turrets and their auto lock, but this game is based on strategy, and if you can place them in places where they can't be damaged, then they're going to do a lot of damage to the team, thus creating good strategy and just space in general. So it's a very useful utensil, never mind how easy it is or whatever. It's just about how you use it, which is the same can be said for any character in this game. There's meta characters and there's all of this, but as long as you can use that character in the most optimal way, you will get the best out of them. And they can keep up with the so-called meta characters that are better to play, which are probably just easier to play, if anything. As far as Season 1.5, as far as competitive is concerned, at the beginning of it, obviously there was like 70 odd days until the next season was meant to be released, and then they brought that back down to about 10 days. Everyone was kicking off that the ranks were going to get reset, so then when they released Season 1.5, they just kept everybody at the same rank. I was one of the few maybe who was actually getting used to going back down the ranks and having to work back up because I just needed a fresh start after Season 1. So then to not have that, it kind of put me off playing competitive for a little bit, and it kind of put me in a stalemate with this game where I was just doing quick play because I just was waiting for the reset basically. That's what I wanted, just to try and work my way back up, do it different, maybe try different characters on the way up and see what I could do and what I couldn't do and with who. But I started to play a little bit more today on the competitive, like Diamond 2 for consoles, now like 84%. So it's not that the best of the best that you're facing, but you're getting near there. So it's given it a bit of a fresher breath of air, to say the least. But I think, like most people, I think we're just waiting for Season 2 to come out. Hopefully some new characters along the way with that, some new maps, and then just a reset of everything. I mean, bear in mind this game is still like 3-4 months old from like its full release, so it's still got a lot of legs as far as the competitive scene is concerned, but it's garnering the attention that like Fortnite and stuff was. So if you can be on this game, getting good at it, playing in competitive, maybe even just doing what I do, just throwing some random games together and posting content, it's definitely worth being in the loop for it all, I would say. So that's even if the game isn't in the best of conditions, I'm still going to be sticking at playing it just based on that fact, just based on the attention it's getting and the amount they have to pull from Marvel itself for the comics in terms of the characters they have access to. There's just too many factors at play not to be involved with this game right now, at least in my opinion. But that's why I know, at least knowing how NetEase have handled things so far, they're going to bring some big things out for Season 2. And you be able to speculate either in the comments or just yourself or whatever, what exactly they're going to do. But I would have high hopes. I mean, I certainly do. I think, maybe, I don't know where to start to even describe, but I will get into some of the points in this video. And as far as criticisms are concerned, gameplay-wise, everything's like fine. You know, they sorted out the triple meta thing, they reduced some of the not cooldown times, or reduced the amount the healing defensive ults were active for. So they put a solve to that. Gameplay-wise, it's all fine. I think the main problem with this game, what deters people, is the player base. It's very, very toxic. You have everyone going off in the chat during games at people for the slightest little thing. But then also people just give up too easily. That's the other problem with this game. It's as soon as it's not going the right way for someone, instead of just trying to battle it out, fight it out, win the fights, they just give up. They initiate the surrenders, or they just purposely throw, and it's pathetic. That's, I think, what will kill this game. Because of how team-based it is, you're relying on your other teammates for not only, again, winning, but enjoying the game. I will sound like a broken record with most of my videos, because the same points still stand. Like, the same problems are still happening. And I will repeat it again, I am not the perfect player, I ain't a pro player, I make my mistakes. But I don't go off at my teammates for the mistakes that they make. I just simply, make a video about it afterwards. But it's never in like, I'm absolutely going after them. It's literally just pointing out what they're doing. So they're doing it to themselves. If they just conducted themselves in a better manner and didn't give up, then people would find they enjoy this game a lot more than they do. But I mean, I don't know how many times you have to say it or how many videos need to get made by however many people before people just realise this. Like, even in this, we wasn't going our way, but we just killed 4 of them. The Jeff managed to get his ult off, kill like 2 of them. We're now able to push once we get this Magneto off. And the game is now back in our favour. Actually, I've just remembered what game this actually is and what happens. This is living proof of not giving up in this game. Just for parts of it, won't talk over it, I'll let you observe. But this game is the best proof for that, about not giving up. I think another variable to consider for this game going into like Season 2 and just in terms of where its future is held, I think there could be a possibility of a burnout with this game, simply because it is everywhere and Marvel is very mainstream, obviously with the movies and all of that. Like, I don't need to explain that should be self-explanatory. But I've had a couple of mates who have like taken time away from this game just because they were exhausted from it. I mean, it is kind of the same thing over and over again, but you just switch it up depending on what characters you play, and again also what teammates that you have, because if you have skill differences, then you might play one game where one healer's doing amazingly, another game where your healer isn't doing so great, and then it brings the whole thing down. And that's also, I think, there's a theory out there about the matchmaking, at least as far as competitive goes, when you're on like losing streaks and stuff. They reckon to keep player engagement so that you keep striving to get your win. Sometimes you'll go on a massive losing streak and then be team queued with people who are also on losing streaks. I don't know really how much validity that theory holds. I haven't looked into it, so I don't know the actual statistics of it, and I haven't gone through my history to try and prove anything. But I think there's simply just too many variables at play for it to purely come down to a rigged system. Human error has to account for something, and if your teammate isn't on the ball for one of these games, it can bring the whole thing down. I've seen it happen, and I've been the time where it has happened, or I have been the player, that has brought it all down just from not being on the ball. And I think that holds a lot more weight than people give it credit for, because they're always wanting some sort of excuse, some sort of way out to prove that they weren't bad. And in some instances, it is just the case that you were bad, or at least one of your teammates were bad, and it just brought everything down. But whether it's a rigged matchmaking system or it's human error, if people want to play competitive because they don't want to get bots like there are in quick play, and I think for quick play it's alright to have the bots in. For like, let's say younger kids who are playing the game and they want to keep them engaged, if they have one of them games, it's going to work. That's what that's intended for. But as far as comp's concerned, going back to it, if it is matchmaking system or if it is bad teammates, if you're not winning that much and you want to be challenged and you want to be playing a competitive game of some sorts, and you keep losing in this one, you're not going to keep playing it. But that goes back to mindset, that goes back to people giving up too early as well. That can also be the sign of a bad teammate, because you can have people who are doing absolutely amazingly, feel like the teammates aren't doing as well, and instead of trying to uplift them, they just start going off at them. And then eventually when they say something back, they're like, right, well, I'm throwing them. They feel like that ace badge just like wipes them of absolutely everything, and they can just slag off whoever they want. But that's not going to uplift no one, and that adds to the toxic community that I was also describing before. I know I've kind of gone off kilter with a few of my points, but Also, for this, keep your eyes on the gameplay, because this is why you do not give up in this game. Plus, when you start working your way up the ranks in this game anyway, a lot of the battles end up turning out like this, where it is just a nitty-gritty fest. You're just throwing whatever you can, throwing all your abilities down, just trying to do maximum damage, defend as much as possible. It's scratty. But there is it makes a lot of sense once you start playing this game enough. Like, a lot of the madness starts to make a lot of sense. A lot of the players, Jeff just got 3 there, and if I remember rightly, I feel like, yeah, Mr. Fantastic gets 3 of us there, but kept the spectating thing on for this replay, so you can see what happens whilst we're all dead, even though I keep checking what people are on. So they managed to stay on the zone, they're still pushing it. I mean, the guy well, GG, that was a guy on the other team, I swear, or it was someone who was saying, well, GG, either giving up, whatever. I don't know which team they were on, to be fair. So they might have had a reason to give up if they were on the other one. But if not, I'll just let this last little stretch play out now. And you can just see, well, the nitty-grittiness of it all, I suppose. And we actually managed to come out the other end of it with a victory from what was seemingly going to be a loss, to be honest. Everyone stat-wise did amazingly. We were running triple support, and I've made my feelings known about triple support. I can't help what other people pick, alright? But the point of that last game being, do not give up in this game. We had the sliveriest of overtime. We had to basically be hugging the convoy, but we managed to pull it off in the end. And you're capable of doing that with any character, with any team. But as soon as one person gives up, they're already not going to be playing to their maximum ability, because their mind is just already elsewhere. They're already drained. So that's what I feel like happens in a lot of these competitive games, where people say there's a matchmaking rig system. I think as soon as one person is deterred, the heart's not in it, whatever, it just all goes on its arse. And I've seen it happen plenty of times, and I would presume that before any conspiracy about a matchmaking system. But as far as Season 2 is concerned, obviously they already have some of the promos in mind. Some people reckon Blade. They're doing like the Mrs. Barnes promo thing now. There's been X-Men leaks, all that sort of stuff. As long as they have that promo in mind to build the Season 2 around, and rank resets so that everyone can then start again. I know maybe some people don't feel amazing about that, but I know myself, I wouldn't mind it. I don't mind playing at the rank that I am, Diamond 2. It's a bit to work up now, because Diamond 1, that I got a month or so back, that was top 5, but now it's like top 15 at Diamond 2, or 16 actually, it's like 84%. So I won't mind the season reset, so I can just start again. That was actually a pretty good Magneto there, to be fair. Just to point out that clip in there. I think there's another good bit at the end in this one, actually. But yeah, as far as Season 2, a good promo with a couple new characters to come out, season resets, and this game will be fine. And I don't know if roll queue is needed as of yet. I feel like it adds a bit of uniqueness to this game, because in some instances running one solo healer against triple healer can be good, as someone pointed out to me in the last video. I'm not going to take credit for that strat. Someone told me that one, and it was fair enough. He said he won the game. So I don't think roll queue's necessary, but definitely like rank resets. I think I know I personally enjoy that anyway. And as far as the player base and the toxicity getting any better, all I would say is learn other characters, learn other classes of characters, be more versatile with your approach to this game, and you will get the maximum enjoyment and maximum winning out of it. As I keep saying, that's going to be the catchphrase for this fucking game. Jesus Christ. You know, I mean, I get it, DPS, used to playing COD, kills and all of that, but this game is not kill-centric. It's all about the objectives that you're playing, that's the main thing. So whatever you need to do in order to maintain that objective is what you should be doing, and DPS is not the sole base around that at all. It all needs to come together to work cohesively. And as soon as people start to realise that, they'll stop getting as stressed out of this game and they'll start to enjoy it a lot more. Thus, getting rid of the toxicity and also increasing the skill of the players playing this game, meaning people will have better teammates and maybe that human error percentage goes down a little bit and people don't have to go on about a rigged matchmaking system just to justify them being bad. Like, I'm not the greatest tank player ever, but you'll see in this gameplay here I make a pretty good job of it, and I haven't even played that much Magneto either, but I think the good part's coming up. If only I landed that for a kill, or they were all bunched up and I could have just wiped them with that Iron Man's ult. That I've not, like I say, I've not played a lot of this character, but instinctually I hear that, wait for it to go off, pull my ult, absorb the damage and try and redirect it back to them. That's just IQ for this game. That isn't like a skill thing or anything, that's just having your awareness about you and knowing what your abilities can and can't do. And in that instance, it could have been an amazing clip if I had killed someone, but I saved my team from dying and we won the point. That's strategy. He isn't a strategist, so I don't need to reinforce that point, but that's all this game is. It's just strategy and awareness, and obviously being somewhat competent with your buttons. I mean, this another great clip here. Get 2, get 3. Again, this is probably like an hour, 2 hours into Magneto or something like that. Try and get the Iron Man, because he's Mag Cannon's best from range. Get the 4th one there. Doesn't count as the 4th, but it's still good. Like, these things matter. The great thing about this game, and you know, similar games that are like it, is that with each character that you play, you were almost just playing a different game entirely, because of the different uses for your abilities, the different range of what your character can and can't do. You're never playing the same game twice. Like, you're always going to have a different way about how you get the most out of your character, how you're most optimal with that character, and it's going to be so much more different to a different character within the game. So even if it is just one support that you learn, and you learn like 4 of the DPS, at least you can get good with that one support and learn how to play the game with that one support. Another great Magneto clip there. That just Corby'd right on that fucker. Jesus Christ. It's like getting Mortal Kombat and only ever using one character to fight with. Sure, you get used to that moveset and you played that game in a different way with that moveset, but in this game, it's a free-to-play game, to be fair. But let's say in the Mortal Kombat case, you paid money for that game, and you aren't even getting the most out of the game by playing only one character. There's so much more content that you're actually missing by playing it, and this game is very much the same. I think people hear the idea of just being healer, not getting too many kills, and it puts them off the fact. But with some of these healers, you can enjoy the game in a way that you never even thought was possible, just because of different traversals or different abilities or whatever is the case. And simply by not trying it, you're almost depriving yourself of that same enjoyment, and in a way, well, no, not in a way, in a definite way, by not learning supports or anything like that, you're being selfish to the other players who are playing the game, and until that gets resolved, you're going to have that toxic community, and it's going to deter people from playing. So let's get these fixes done. Let's get on with Season 2, and until the next one.